The spider madam opened its enormous maw and let out a deafening roar, echoing through the battlefield. Hohenheim quickly extended his hand, summoning a glowing magic circle beneath his feet. In a flash, several bursts of fiery magic shot toward the beast, lighting up the area with intense flames. Behind him, Doris and Sinclair prepared to support him, readying their own skills for the fight. Hohenheim's eyes shone with unwavering determination. He clenched his teeth and focused, refusing to give in easily. Meanwhile, Hibro drew his sword and charged forward, moving swiftly toward the beast. Sinclair grabbed her magic staff, her gaze confident and steady, ready to follow the others into battle. Doris silently observed the monstrous spider, puzzled by its overwhelming power. How could such a creature be so formidable? Hohenheim was momentarily confused when he realized that this magical beast was immune to his fire magic. Not only that, but it was an insect-type creature, something that defied his expectations. Hibro, turning to him with a calm but serious expression, explained, "Your flames won't work here. Normal fire won't cause significant damage. Unless you use nether hellfire, your magic is useless against it. And its exoskeleton is incredibly resistant. The attacks just bounce off." His gaze turned serious as he began to analyze Madam's weak points. He noted that, although its legs were less armored than its main body, they possessed a strange regenerative ability. If cut off, they would grow back, often multiplying in number. Its only real vulnerabilities at this moment were the already torn-out eyes and the patches of armor that had been stripped away. As Middleborough and Lober's eyes gleamed with resolve, they surged forward, weapons ready. Behind them, Vikir, Good Merlin, and Bakira followed closely, prepared for the assault. Hibro explained to Hohenheim that although his magic couldn't directly harm Madame, it could serve as a distraction, drawing its attention so that the others could strike its weak points. "If I can attract its focus with my magic," Hibro said, "the Vangian group will have a chance to attack the exposed spots." Hohenheim nodded gratefully, asking, "How do you know all this? Have you faced Madame before?" Hibro looked away nervously, sweat beading on his forehead. He quickly fabricated a lie, claiming, "I analyzed it during a past encounter. What I told you is the result of that analysis." Hohenheim hesitated, feeling a flicker of doubt. Can we really follow this plan and succeed? He wondered. Suddenly, Madame opened its mouth wide, unleashing a mighty roar. Hibro confirmed that this was the only way to defeat it, by exploiting its weaknesses and distracting it long enough for the others to strike. The beast stretched out its sharp legs, advancing rapidly. Hohenheim's eyes widened in alarm as he saw its approach. Panic flooded him. He knew he wouldn't be able to hold its attention for long. Loved Good Merlin was the first to act. She stepped forward, raising her magic staff, mana swirling from its tip. Her eyes sparkled with confidence and hope. With a determined smile, she spun her staff, summoning a magic circle on the ground. From it, thick vines erupted, coiling upward in a furious rush. Toward Madame, the spider, confused by the sudden onslaught, threw itself into attack mode, swinging its razor-sharp legs wildly. The vines struck its abdomen, causing a piercing scream of agony. Loved Good Merlin's gaze remained steadfast as she continued to channel her magic, ordering the others to attack. Hearing her command, Middleborough and Lober drew their swords, their determination burning bright. They leaped onto Madame's back, aiming for its vulnerable spots. Bakira and the Baskerville triplets landed atop its armored abdomen, mana emanating from their bodies as they prepared to strike. Bakira gripped his sword tightly, eyes blazing with fury, ready to attack. Bakira shouted, unleashing a surge of powerful mana. They launched their assault, creating a thick curtain of smoke that obscured the battlefield. As the smoke began to clear, the group descended to the ground, cautious and alert. Knowing that the fight was far from over, Bakira, eyes sharp, observed the battlefield. His expression turned serious. "With so much smoke, I can't tell if it's dead or alive," he muttered, gripping his sword tightly. Hibro's eyes widened in confusion. Despite feeling confident that his attack had struck true, Bakira's uncertainty made him hesitate. Suddenly, a massive shadow loomed overhead. Something gigantic was approaching fast. Bakira and the triplets stared up in shock and fear, their faces reflecting the gravity of the situation. Hohenheim, Doris, Sinclair, and Grenouille all turned to look, their eyes widening in terror as the shadow grew larger, casting darkness over the battlefield. Loved Good Merlin, trembling, looked up with fear in her eyes. Madame's legs, battered and torn, steadied as the spider rose to its full height. Its eyes burned with rage as it roared furiously and fixed its gaze on the group. Without hesitation, Madame charged, its sharp legs slicing through the air with deadly precision. Hohenheim swiftly created a barrier around everyone, a glowing shield that shimmered with protective magic, attempting to block the beast's ferocious assault. Madame's attacks tore into the ground, causing it to crack and shatter beneath their feet. Bakira and the triplets scrambled to avoid the destruction, their movements frantic but coordinated. Bette Middleborough clenched his fists, teeth gritted, as he watched the overwhelming power of Madame. His eyes widened in fear. How could they stand against such a monster? Night had fallen, and Vikir had met with the Baskerville triplets earlier. His face was filled with confusion and concern. By following Vikir's plan, he questioned, "Do you really think we can kill Madam?" The triplets silently observed him, their expressions unreadable. Vikir turned his back to them, voice calm but resolute. "It's impossible," he admitted, "but we already know what it means to face Madam." Hearing this, the triplets' eyes widened in surprise. Vikir's hand trembled slightly as he tried to process the grim reality. Meanwhile, Hohenheim sat trembling, fear gripping his heart. The sight of Anna's body lying motionless nearby haunted him. Loved good Merlin sat beside her, holding her hand tightly. Soon, Anna stirred, pushing herself up slowly. Her friend's attention snapped toward her, concern etched on their faces. Lovegood Merlin turned her back, eyes shining with determination. She looked at Anna and softly asked her to take care of herself. Vikir's voice cut through the tense silence, explaining that the greatest threat wasn't just the monster, it was the strength to fight on while witnessing comrades fall. That was why they had chosen this group. Even knowing the odds were against them, they would fight tirelessly until the end. Suddenly, Madam's massive legs swung toward Lovegood Merlin. She quickly extended her hands, summoning a barrier that absorbed the attack. Her face contorted with effort. She clenched her teeth, overwhelmed by the monster's power. Tears welled in her eyes, realizing how formidable Madam truly was. At that moment, someone placed a hand on the ground. Red mana erupted from their palm, spreading across the battlefield. The ground exploded in a violent burst of energy, halting Madam's attack. Vikir's eyes widened in disbelief and confusion. He recognized that Manhwa familiar and potent, realizing its significance. Vikir turned to the triplets, a serious expression on his face. "When I give the signal, all of you attack together," he ordered. "That's the only way to defeat Madam." The triplets nodded silently, understanding the gravity of the moment. Vikir raised one finger, solemnly revealing the plan. "This is our last chance. Attack with everything you've got." Following his instructions, the group prepared themselves, mana swirling, weapons ready, hearts pounding with resolve. Doris applied a powerful light buff to Hohenheim. Sinclair focused her energy, eyes sharp. Lovegood Merlin summoned vines once more, their tendrils creeping across the ground. Hohenheim extended his hand, summoning a blazing magic circle that crackled with energy. The flames surged upward, ready to strike. The Baskerville triplets and Vikir positioned themselves above, prepared to deliver the killing blow. Vikir drew back his bow, aiming at Madam's vulnerable legs. Imbuing the arrow with his mana, his eyes shined with unwavering confidence. He knew this shot could turn the tide. He released the arrow, the force so mighty it shattered the ground beneath him. The shot streaked toward Madam, cutting through the air with deadly precision. The arrow struck its legs, causing the beasts to roar in pain and fury. Seizing the opportunity, Vikir and the others launched their attacks, weapons flashing as they aimed for the beast's exposed weaknesses. Hohenheim summoned a colossal flame, unleashing it directly onto Madam's abdomen, igniting a blazing inferno that shook the battlefield. This was the final stand. The battle raged on as the fate of all hung in the balance. And this was it for this chapter. Please leave a comment that it helps boost my videos. Even an emoji would do. Thanks.